Well, ladies, gentlemen, and all yous who travel the cosmic spectrum rainbow. It has been a hot minute since we've done a video. So, in today, we're actually starting the Fellowship of the Ring Paint Them All. I think that's what I'm going to call it. I haven't decided on a name yet. But we also haven't decided on which one would be our victim target model to paint today. So, I'll pick one. And then I'll see you all at the painting table. Okay, so we're starting, as I said, with Gandalf. As we all know, Gandalf, known to many as a wandering wizard. But we all know that Gandalf is one of the Astari, sent by the Valar to guide the free people of Middle-earth in their darkest hour. This is before he actually, decides to send everyone off so he can hog all the XP from killing the Balrog. We all know that's what happened. No else. Everyone else was running around in stolen gear. He just appears with a brand new setup like he's prepaid gaming. But that's beside the point. So with Gandalf the Grey here, I have undercoated him with a spray of Chaos Black. And we're going to start the base coat with a Mechanica Standard Grey, which is already in the thing. I forgot what it's called. Doesn't matter. And then once that he's that, we're going to be using Nuln Oil on the cloth. So let's get him nice and based. Let's go, little Gandalf. This may take one or two coats to get done, and he's pretty wobbly on the stand, so I may need to press down on his hat just to hold him in place. That's going to take a couple of coats. Sorry about the abrupt pause there. There was somebody at the door. So, as we can see here, Gandalf has been based in Mechanica Standard Grey. Oh, I need to get something in place for him to not wiggle around, but I don't want to glue him to the base yet because, I want to put static grass and a couple of things on there. And the dog's barking again. Okay, so now that the cloaks are completed and based, I just need to get some Nuln Oil. Just put some on the palette. There we go. Clean that off. Always make sure your brushes are dry. We all know that anyway. Alright, so we'll just take a wee bit of Nuln Oil. Oh, all of it actually, because this brush, I can't even remember where I got it from, but it's pretty much a sponge. So what we want to do is just apply this all over the cloak. Basically all the cloth bits, so that way it darkens it down a bit. We actually need a wee bit more. You know what? Take it from the lid. There we go. Scripts. So if we get the cloak running, don't forget his hat too. If I can get him to stand still for a second. Aye. It's easier doing it from the back, because he won't hopefully not go flying forward. Just get some of the hat there. Don't worry, I'm not going to be leaving it like this, so once I'm done, I'm going to dry off the brush and then soak up all the pools. Otherwise, Duncan will come down my chimney and beat me up. And I don't want Duncan to come down my chimney and beat me up. That or Chris Peach either, because, tag teams. Alright, so I think there's some there. Just push that around a bit. Definitely some pulling on the back of the hat, which we don't want. Ah, I see you. Right here. Okay, now that he's all cleaned up. See, I've intentionally avoided the staff, the skin, the hair, and the sword. I also found out something very interesting about Gandalf's staff. You probably won't be able to see it on this. But in the expanded edition of Lord of the Rings that I was watching the other day, which probably got me in the mood to, you know, finally crack out this set, Gandalf's pipe is actually there. He stealths it in his staff, which is genius. That way he doesn't, you know, lose it unless he loses his staff. Right, so that is the base coat and the wash completed. That'll take around half an hour to dry, as we all know. So we're going to cut here, and we'll be back in about I'll be back in about a half an hour. For the viewers or viewer or whoever watches this, it'll be a second. Okay, so for this part, I've just done the usual, you know, speed it up, because whenever I was putting this together, it was like 45 minutes long. And yeah, no, that's not happening. I don't want to force anyone to sit through 45 minutes of just dog barking, me talking to myself, basically just chatting shit to myself while I'm painting. So yeah, I also, whenever I was putting all this together, I found that little song at the start that's been playing the whole way through. I really like it. I think it really holds up to the whole aesthetic of Lord of the Rings fantasy-esque thing that I'm doing in this series, because, you know, I've done the others. I've had this set for a while. As I was saying, I got it from a really good friend of mine, because I went into my local Warhammer store to pick one up. They didn't have it. He had it. He wasn't using it, so I bought it off him instead. The Sam, as you've seen in the start there, he originally was going to paint them all, but excuse me, he didn't. So I'm just going to touch up on the Sam and pretty much leave it as is, because it's his work, not mine. I know I touched on it a bit at the start there, but you never realise how much of an XP hog Gandalf the Grey was. Like, he spent just frolicking around in the shower, smoking his pipe weed. Yeah, we're on the U. Doing Cheech and Chong and goddamn Gandalf as well. And then, where they're in the Mines of Moria, like, he could have easily just went with the rest of them, but he was like, you know what? This big Balrog's going to give me mega XP. So I'm just going to do a wee sneaky. I want to break a bridge. I'm going to let him grab me, and then I'm going to go down and fight him for, I think he said, what was it? 4 days and nights or something. I can't really remember how much time he said he would scrap in that thing, but he just comes back. Like, Aragorn's got braces. He grave robbed Boromir. He's like, I'm taking this. They're just running around in like level 1 leathers, and he just rocks in with I almost swore. He just rocks in with like a level 25 mage build, going, look at me, I'm Gandalf the White now, low-key not racist. I don't even know why I said that. And then he's like, yep, look at me and my new gear, all my XP. It's like, pay to play with that man, honestly. But you know what, I would say he's a pretty decent wizard, but the real thing that always annoyed me was he had the giant birds, like the big birds. He could have just went, yo, Frodo, hop on this bald eagle and we'll fly over Mordor and we'll just, you know, stealth drop that thing in. Running around here, he could have like B-52 bombed that stuff, but no, he was just like, we're just going to take a wee walk. It's about 5 minutes, we'll take a wee dander, a wee stroll, if you will, across the street. Mate, you seen that map compared to where Bilbo went, and that again, 1 book, 3 films. No, we don't talk about that. I mean, The Hobbit was okay. I mean, not as fun as the Lord of the Rings movies, but it was an okay. The Hobbits were an okay 3-parter. Didn't need to be a 3-parter. but Peter Jackson probably thought it was a good idea, but then he ended up putting characters in there that didn't belong. I have never read the Hobbit book, but I don't think Legolas is in it. I mean, he could be for all I know. Like I said, I've never read it, but that's what I think. I don't think he's supposed to be there. I mean, whenever I was in secondary school, I did start reading the Fellowship of the Ring. But I got like halfway through and went, nah, this is like, my brain is liquid. I have no idea what's going on. Which is pretty like ironic because also then I was collecting the miniatures. I had like Uruk-hai, Moria Goblins, the Fellowship, a Gandalf the White that went mysteriously missing, and I also had a Sauron. Yeah, so I had a Sauron as well, but he was metal. But whenever I was sticking them together, his head fell off and landed on the jeans I was wearing, but I didn't see it. And then I went to the cinema with a few friends, and I was like, is there popcorn on my leg? I went down, grabbed it, was going to throw it. I was like, that feels like metal. I was like, I found a Sauron head that I lost like hours ago. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, I dropped them, couldn't find him. Thought he was still like under my desk, but he wasn't. Turns out he survived that walk. Like, Jesus, he survived that. But just right. So enough of that rambling there. So as I was saying to myself whenever I was making this video, I don't like how this Gandalf is turning out. I really don't. But see, whenever he's all dried, I've done all the off-screen touch-ups that I could, because I don't know what's wrong. My hand was just constantly shaking. Like both of them, I couldn't, do what I needed to do or get very steady. But now, looking at him, he's actually not that bad. But I still have the base is all painted. I just need to glue the grass down because, Middle Earth, Gandalf the Grey is in the Shire. And then Rivendell. So I just need to do that. And then we'll be on. Just need to do that. I've got loads of flocky grass and stuff like that I can use. And that's don't know what the crack was with that stutter, but yeah, as I was saying, I've got flock grass here. I've got like little stone paths, so I've got an idea, even though the base is tiny, like very small, but I can get that done, no problem at all. Then once that's down, I can actually glue him in place so he doesn't shake everywhere. Then I also need to look at the bottom of the others because he was like constantly like shaking. Like the old man had like Alzheimer's or something. I don't know. Parkinson's, not Alzheimer's. Jesus Christ. Parkinson's. Well, he kind of did have Alzheimer's because he couldn't remember the way into the Mines of Moria. Because, the dwarves and the elves, they weren't really the best of friends. So it was kind of like ironic for them to use the elvish word for friend to open the door. They always say, even when they're in Rivendell, the Gimli's like, never trust an elf. And they're just like, bro, you're like in their house and you're screaming, never trust an elf. Like, no, don't do that shit, honestly. But turns out he ends up liking him anyway. They have this like little sibling rivalry going on. Good crack in the end, good crack. But as I was saying, once I get, because the base is dry, so I'm just going to apply the little stones, the flocky grass, and then we're going to have a reveal of Gandalf the Grey coming up rather soon. So just for now, I'm just going to stop with the voiceover because I'm starting to get a bit hoarse, which is pretty funny in my line of work, but it is what it is. So coming up next, after I flock everything down, get him glued on, make sure that he is steady and not shaken with the Parkinson's, we're going to do a reveal of Gandalf the Grey. I just also want to say, whoever's actually watched this far, I really appreciate it a lot. Like, I'm not the best miniature painter out there. I'm not the worst either. But again, just thank you for watching, and if you can, I hate doing this, but it's the algorithm makes you do it. If you could, just drop like a like, subscribe, even a comment. You know, it's free, it doesn't cost anything. If you could do that, I would be eternally grateful, because I've been sitting here for ages. Thank you. Bye.